Hi guys, how you doing?
I'm having my monkey on my back now. We're going to start reading a book now. Scott, are you going to get the book? Just give me a second. And shwop. Are you going to get the book? Yeah, which book do you get? Huh? Which book? Mommy didn't wash your mouth. So, we have 3 of Scott's favorite books. One is We Share Everything in Daycare. Then we have Scott's favorite Thomas and his friends. Stay safe with Thomas the Tank Engine.
Okay.
And we have Bedtime Tales with 8 different kind of stories. Which story do you want to read, Scott? This one here? Okay. Do you want to sit down with Mama?
This one. Apples.
With the apple? Okay.
Apple.
Let's see. There we are. The story is called Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs. Once upon a time, there was a gentle king and queen who were blessed with a beautiful daughter. The baby had skin as white as snow, sweet red lips, and hair as black as ivory. I shall call my little princess Snow White, announced the delighted queen. Snow White was only a few weeks old when the queen suddenly died. The king was heartbroken. In time, however, he found another wife. The new queen was beautiful, but she was also cruel and hard-hearted. Every day the queen would turn to an enchanted mirror in her bedchamber and ask, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?" The mirror always spoke the truth, giving the reply, "You, my queen, are the fairest of them all." Over the years, however, Snow White blossomed into a lovely princess. One evening, the queen went to consult a mirror as usual. "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?" she asked. "My queen," replied the looking glass. "Snow White is the fairest." Oh, do you see Snow White here? It's not the queen, it's Snow White. Who is the fairest? The next morning, the queen ordered her huntsman to take Snow White deep into the forest and kill her. The huntsman led the princess through the trees, but he couldn't bear to hurt such a sweet beauty. "Run far away," he begged. "If you come back to the palace, you will die." Snow White ran and ran. When the sun began to sink below the trees, Snow White came to a small cottage. It looked so snug and cozy inside. The princess couldn't resist opening the front door. In the kitchen, Snow White found a table with 7 little chairs. She tiptoed into the bedroom. "Look at those 7 tiny beds," she gasped, wondering who might live in such a place.
I know. Sure.
Yeah, 7 tiny chairs. She lay down on the beds and rested her weary head.
Yeah. Roar.
No, you see, there are the dwarfs. They're not doing any roar. The cottage belonged to the 7 dwarfs
Oh.
who worked in a mine deep below the mountains.
Red.
Yeah,
White.
yeah, white beard. When they came home, Snow White was fast
No.
asleep.
No.
"What is this beautiful girl doing in our beds?" they wondered. Snow White woke up with a start. Please help me, she begged. When the dwarfs heard Snow White's story, they promised to protect her from the evil queen. While the dwarfs went to work in the mine each day, Snow White happily cooked and cleaned in the cottage. Back in the castle, the queen went to her mirror. "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?" she asked. And the mirror replied, "Snow White is the fairest of them all." The furious queen put on some old clothes and went out to the forest to find the princess. The queen knocked at the door of the dwarf's cottage, disguised as a peddler woman selling ribbons. "Let me put this pretty ribbon around your neck," she smiled. The queen pulled the ribbon so tight the princess couldn't properly breathe. But when the dwarfs got home that evening, they took the ribbon off and helped Snow White to bed. The queen was very angry when she discovered that her plan to kill Snow White had failed. The next day, she dressed up as a different peddler woman and went back to... That's a comb, like a brush for the hair. The next day she dressed up as a different peddler woman and went back to the cottage. Careful, honey. "Who will try my beautiful hair combs?" she cried, standing beneath the bedroom window. Snow White looked longingly at the lovely combs, but the dwarfs had told her not to open the door to strangers.
Oh my God.
No, she wasn't allowed to open the door. When Snow White refused to let her in,
No.
the canny queen left the prettiest comb outside
Mama.
in front of the door and went away. Snow White came straight down the stairs, then she slid the comb into her hair. "Oh!" she cried, falling to the floor. That night, the dwarfs discovered that the comb had poison in its teeth. They took the comb out and made Snow White well again. The queen didn't go to the mirror for many months. One day, however, her vain heart couldn't resist asking, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?" The mirror's reply was simple. "Snow White is the fairest of them all." The angry queen stormed back to the forest. This time she disguised herself as a farmer's wife, tempting Snow White with a delicious-looking poisoned apple. As soon as Snow White bit into the poisoned apple, she collapsed and died. The dwarfs tended to her all night, but nothing could save their beloved princess. No potion or tonic could bring Snow White back to life this time. Look, they're crying. The forlorn dwarfs placed Snow White in a glass coffin so everyone could admire her beauty. One day a prince rode by. He fell in love with Snow White the moment that he set eye on her. "May I take the coffin?" he begged. "I can't leave her." As the prince carried the coffin over an white horse, an uneven ground, he jolted the casket. Suddenly the apple in Snow White's throat was dislodged. She opened her eyes. Snow White immediately fell in love with the prince. Very soon, they were married in front of everyone in the kingdom. only one person decided not to share in the royal celebrations. When she discovered then that Snow White was the royal bride, the wicked queen ran out of the wedding in a blind fury. She was never seen or heard of again. The end.
Okay.
Do you want another story? Do you want Rumpelstilzchen? Do you want to read Rumpelstilzchen?
So, guys,
Oh.
that is the end of the story. Hi, Scott. Can you say bye-bye?
You say bye-bye?
Say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Till next time. See you next time.
See you
Bye-bye.
next time. Bye-bye.
Say bye-bye. See you next time.
Good job! Blowing kisses. Mwah. Mwah, mwah. Good job.
Thanks, guys, for watching. Bye from us right now. Bye-bye.
Bye.